So, is Wike admitting to being a political criminal, one that is used to rig election? Because I don't understand this headline where it's reported that Wike said, I would have been in Oshu if Tinubu wanted APC to win at all costs. So that means when you want to win at all costs, not at the people, not at the instance of the people choosing you, electing you to be the one, but you want to rig, snatch, run with it, do whatever. Wike is saying that he is the one that is always, brought on board.
I don't know the effort made by federal government, but I do know that parties in the election will make efforts to win election. There's nothing wrong in that. But federal government, I'm part of the federal government. I'm sure that if the president wanted to win or should at all cost, I would be involved, and I would have been there. And the governor would have known that it would have been different. Election is not won one day. Election is not one day. Election is a process. You can't just get up in the morning to go and win an election. President is a politician now. So people should not, when they say effort of federal government, what do you see to show that federal government is seriously interested to win this? If colleagues, governors, as of a party, think that by going there, will have a form of influence, it is to the people. I didn't see anything that anybody would tell the federal government did. Do you know what you are talking about? If federal government carried influence, do you not see 2019 influence in the Rivers State election?
But let me just hold it there before I go on to talk about, all of these things. Tinubu wanted Oshun, and there's nothing like whether they did not want or however, wherever, right? And he also was out for agreement. So we have an agreement there that they say they had an agreement. It depends on what he wanted it for. But don't underestimate, undermine what Oshun people did. Oshun people were not interested in whatever agreement anyone had, right? There might have been an agreement where, with the Oshun governor, though he has come out to deny it, but body language and everything like, oh, okay, we do this. But it doesn't mean that they did not try to snatch. You understand? Snatch that whole election. Whatever Tinubu did, that was Tinubu. APC also did their own. There was a lot of effort and everything put in place to ensure that they subvert that election, but you saw indeed what the people did. And if you go through my channel, this is what I've been talking about all the time. Look, let me tell you something. When people say, oh, they won't come out to vote, if you don't come out to vote, you've already voted. You gave your spot to the incumbent. It doesn't matter who is the incumbent, whether you like the incumbent, whether you don't like the incumbent. Voter apathy will always favor the incumbent. It's always in favor of the incumbent. So by not voting, you have actually voted. You've added to the advantage that the incumbent has. So when people are talking things like, oh, I'm not going to vote, oh, sorry, you don't already vote, whether you came out or you did not come out. By coming out to vote, you then ensure that you have the choice of saying where the vote will go to. And for you to be able to rig an election, you need a critical number. 2023, Tinubu would not have been able to rig the presidential election if the Northwest did not give Tinubu the critical number. You see Nasir El-Rufai today that Tinubu has thrown into jail, locked up, all manner of things being done to him. He was instrumental to Tinubu having the capacity to be able to rig election. Otherwise, what you will have is that the election will be too big to be rigged, where no matter what the people do, they cannot rig it. They can only rig to reduce the embarrassment, which was what you saw in a lot of states, like places like Lagos and all of that. I remember experts were telling us that, Tinubu can never, ever be defeated in Lagos. And when it happened, of course, experts will come out and tell them, oh, he really didn't like Lagos, and what have you not. For me, the thing that I don't want us to get carried away with Osun State is to believe that INEC is doing the right thing, or there's going to be an IREF that works or whatever. I've said this thing constantly over the years that look, we must take this election as if it's a manual election. Then forget technology on that day. Other than the technology you are using to keep things, in check, there is no other thing that you're going to do based on trusting technology on the part of government, trusting technology on the part of INEC or anything. So follow everything as if it's going to be manual. So according to Daily Trust, where Wike said that he would have been in Osun if Tinubu wanted APC to win at all costs. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has said he would have gone to Osun State to help the All Progressives Congress, APC, ensure victory in the governorship election if Bola Tinubu had wanted the party to win the poll at all costs. Wike made the statement on Tuesday while speaking with journalists during an inspection of flood-prone areas in Maitama, Abuja. It's really interesting how all of a sudden we are hearing flood-prone areas in Maitama, Abuja. Maitama would say too, yes, I saw Wike's, that his whatever, that his what do they call the busy bulldog or whatever should I call him, that he always sends out, coming out to say that flooding has always happened in Abuja. Yeah, there are floodings that have happened in Abuja, but you don't come and compound it 90% more and say that flooding has always happened. And there are areas in Abuja that have never had any issues with flooding. There are places that have had issues with flooding, and what you should be doing is for you to ensure that you take care of them and this flooding do not happen. But when you now are the one causing most areas because of the fact that they have sold the lands that they have sold and all of that, but these people they know they can get away whatever excuses because the citizens allow them to get away with it. And now there's also been reported that he's going to be demolishing houses. I saw a particular building in Abuja that is already being in Maitamara that is already being demolished. And people are saying, why are you not demolishing the ones that you just gave them a permit to go and build in places that houses are not meant, to be built on? I've said this for a very long time. People that are collecting lands for Wike, be sure of legal, of course, there's also the issue of legal, battle that is going to happen because many people are going to go to court. A lot of people's lands were revoked. You understand? Revoked without following the proper channel and giving to his friends and cronies and all of that. And you have people who are building on places where houses are not supposed to be placed. The minister was responding to questions on the outcome of the Osun governorship election, which was won by the People's Democratic Party candidate. Excuse me? How does Daily Trust not know that Governor Ademola Adeleke is no longer in PDP, is in a Accord party? Sometimes our journalists and our media, they are part of the problem in this country. Anyway, Wike, who remains a member of PDP but has continued to support Tinubu's administration, illegitimate administration, by the way, said APC could have won the election if the illegitimate president, had been determined to secure victory irrespective of the circumstances. He said, if the president, illegitimate by the way, had wanted to win the Osun State election at all costs, I would have been there and would have won it, and there's nothing the governor can do. Oshe, hey, when a criminal is talking, send anybody papa in message, they admit as in do whatever it is that you want to do. That's how they roll. The minister's comment came against the backdrop of APC's defeat in the election, with Adeleke declared winner by the Independent National Electoral Commission. You know the irony of life. The last time this election happened, let's say 2022, Wike, I'm sure, was fighting for Adeleke. Yeah, they were all in a PDP. That was his party. Wike was there carrying Adeleke's matter on his head. Today, because now he wants to be in a place where he's eating from government, doing boy in Abuja, he's ready to go all out. No honor, nothing. But like they say, there is no honor in their kind of politics. Since Tinubu appointed him FCT minister, Wike has maintained his membership of the PDP while publicly supporting Tinubu and some policies of its administration. Anyway, let me just stop here, but for you to know that indeed you just heard Wike literally admitting to being one that can be used in politics to do anything anyhow, not about the mandate of, because the only way that happened, and Wike would not have, Wike is just talk, he's blabbing, because Osun people were ready for him, and anyone that they could have sent in. If it's other state where people don't really bother to come out and all of that, they can do this, but in the case of Osun, no way. Thank you so much.